Hey, Coach Scott here. Cramp. Oh, it's not pleasant, is it? You get it in bed, you get it watching TV, you get it at work, you get it at an interview, you get it on the train, you get it on a first date. Oh, not pleasant. In this video, I'm going to help you try and avoid it. Okay, so disclaimer first, cramp is one of those things that there is no universal reason for in every individual. Athlete, cyclist, human being, let's say. Cramp is obviously led by fatigue, build-up of lactic acid potentially, dehydration, loss of minerals, electrolytes, basically the way that the actin and myosin fibres rub together. When we cause a contraction, we have a hook and an eye on the fibres, and basically the hook, catch, contract, release, relax. But cramp prevents that relaxation. As you know, it gets tighter and tighter and almost as tight as a Scotsman's wallet. But it causes pain. We have to then actually force the relaxation, causing sometimes a little bit of tissue damage, and that pain can last for days after. So in this video, I want to share with you common reasons that I associate with cramp. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to fix it and prevent it, but it might delay it and it might stop it for some of you. So I see it in the Bike Fit studio a lot, and there's 3 things that are common to everyone that gets cramp. So let's dive in and fix them. So first thing I want to talk about is cleat positioning. Now, I'm always talking about cleat position and how it can really help stabilize your foot. That will therefore help the hip position, so therefore help the biomechanics of the pedal stroke. But let's look at you. Let's look at you as a human being in the scale and averageness of everyone. And what I mean by that, how big are your feet? Now, yes, some people have bigger feet than others. Some people are taller than others, but have smaller feet. I want to look at your feet. What's the average in the UK? Around about a 9, a 44, into a 10, a 45. So if you are above that, what I tend to see in the studio is those people have their cleats slightly further forward, and we need to really bring them back. They're maybe in the wrong type of shoes, and they've got cleats that can't be pulled back on that particular type of shoe. So I want you thinking about that. If the shoe has got cleats further forward, you're engaging your big toe. You're pressing on the big toe more. So you're on your tiptoes while you're pedaling. Now, I'm not talking about toe down or foot down during the pedal stroke. I'm talking about the engagement through peak torque is more toe. That's unstable. If we walk about on our tiptoes all day, we're going to put pressure on the gastrocnemius, so we may get cramp in the calf muscle. This may lead to cramp in the hamstring, may even lead to cramp in the quadricep because we're inefficient through that stroke, all because of your cleats. So take a look at your cleats. Look at these bad boys. That's my new shoes. Oh, I'll be sharing a video about them because look, they got to go in the oven. I've got to melt them around my foot. Save that for another time. But setting the cleats slightly further back, pull them back. Don't mess about too much with the rotation that you've got right now if it works for you. Pull them back, have a go. It might just be the thing that stops the cramp happening. So the next thing I want to talk about is the saddle height. I can hear you. You think I'm going to say your saddle's too high. I'm not actually this time. Potentially your saddle's too low. I want you thinking about the job the quadricep does. So to contract the quadricep, the leg straightens. But think about it, if you've got the saddle too low and you're not actually allowing the quadricep to fulfill its duty of straightening the leg as much as possible through that stroke, it becomes inefficient. Basically, the muscle contractions are not as efficient, so they can cause more inflammation, okay, because you're jamming them up. And there's a lot of pressure going through the knee. So you might get knee pressure and then some cramp. So put a little bit of height onto the saddle. In fact, if you've moved your cleats back, you're going to put a little bit of height on anyway. How much? Start with 5 millimeters. Maybe even edge it forward 2 to 3 to 5 millimeters as well. And that will keep the sort of range in terms of cleat to hip position the same without putting you under pressure. But it might just be the thing that takes away that cramp. And the third thing I want to talk about is the stack height in relation to the saddle height. Now, what's that got to do with it? Well, if your stack height is too low and your saddle is too high, yes, back to that old one. If it's too high, then what happens is as we reach forward, we stretch everything through posterior chain. So through your calf muscle, your hamstring, your glute, your lower back, all the way up to your neck. And if you stretch that posterior chain, and let's say you've got poor pelvis action, so you've collapsed your pelvis as well, It's really stretching. Well, that muscle contraction, that friction I'm talking about, well, think of it like Velcro. I've got a Velcro strap here on a pair of shoes. So, as the muscle contracts, think of it as Velcro. Now, when I pull that shoe over, there's loads of room for it to contact. Easy. Now, when you stretch your posterior chain, what happens is you decrease the amount of room there is for the Velcro to contract. So I'm having trouble when I pull that through to even get it to stick. That's what's happening to your muscles. You're actually stretching them so far that there's less ability for that Velcro contraction. Guess what? That's inefficient. Guess what? That's building up a little bit more inefficiency in terms of potential cramp. Fix it by bringing up your front end and possibly lowering that. I was going to swear there, but I won't. Lowering that saddle a little bit. Everybody wants to slam their stem because the pros do it. Do they? Have a look next time you're watching TV of how low they are on the front, because we've gone away from that really low on the front because people can't get their head in that position, so you're not as aerodynamic as you think. A higher front end keeps your head and your hands closer together and keeps that lovely big space on the muscle to contract. Surface area really, not space, but you know what I mean. Okay, that's 3 great tips. Oh, there's more, isn't there? You gotta fuel. Here's a special little tip. If you're a big fast twitch fibre athlete and you love riding in a low cadence big gear, you're burning more fuel. So you're gonna hit cramp a little bit earlier. So if you are one of those riders, make sure you are fueling, and you don't have to be chasing all these fancy, all sorts of. Just make sure you graze regularly. Don't wait for 2 hours or 3 hours before you start eating, because you will burn more fuel than those slow twitch fibre athletes. So get on top of it, and that could just be the thing. Don't go chasing minerals or electrolytes, just drink, okay? Just drink often and eat often. Okay folks, that's my tips for today from the studio. I hope they help, and remember, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments or send me an email at kineticcyclecoaching.com. You just might be the star of the next video. And remember folks, you stay safe, keep smiling. Anyone can train hard. There's only a few of us can train smart.